And away we go.
Well, hello.
Here we are.
Here we are.
I gotta remember how to go
You
to
gotta
performance
go
mode.
performance. Yeah, you gotta get there quick.
Gotta get there quick.
Hop on in.
Hello, everyone. Here we are.
Episode 4.
Episode 4.
Wow. That's crazy.
We didn't stream in November.
No. November was crazy.
Oh.
November, and I mean, to be fair, December is crazy.
That's true.
So the fact that we're doing this now is pretty, that's a good sign, a good thing. Things must be going well.
All right. Our stream looks smooth.
Hey.
That's great.
Reliable Wi-Fi?
Reliable Wi-Fi? And not a 5G connection? Right on. All right. Well, welcome, everyone. We're back in it.
We're back in? Yeah. You're going to have to read chat today. I don't know if I want to pull it up on my computer.
That's probably fair. I was just going to have it up on the phone over here. Yeah. Kyle the Washer has made an appearance.
Oh, yeah. And it is real.
It's real and it's spectacular.
It's not cardboard.
All right. I'm going to start with your
I wish
hopped.
you could see BC's spread right now. It is.
Yeah.
I have poured him a spread of things, and it's a good amount of colors.
5 glasses.
5 glasses.
And a bottle of water over here.
Can't forget the bottle of
gotta
water.
Stay hydrated, you know. Yeah. We're live from the Man-Made Mead studio.
Uh-huh. We're tightly fitting here. There's not a lot of room.
There's not. There's like a music stand with a laptop over here.
Yeah. Everyone who comes here to record is always like shocked at how small it is. It's not a big place. So, but normally it's just me, so it works. But yeah, we're back for episode 4, and it's December. Christmas is a week
away.
A little over a week away. Are you done your Christmas shopping?
No. Anna does all the Christmas shopping.
Oh, okay.
I just pay my half, whatever that is. It just goes on the credit card. So technically, yes, I've done all my Christmas shopping through her.
I mean, as long as it's done, that's all that matters.
I have to, I gotta buy stuff for her though, and so that's always the trick: is what do you get the person who buys whatever they want, So throughout the year, I'm having to make these little notes and wait and see if she buys the thing she's talking about buying. And then cram it all into an Amazon order a week before Christmas.
Well, good luck to you.
Are you prepared for the holidays?
I think so. Yeah, I've done a lot of Amazon shopping. All online this year.
Yeah.
It's too easy. Too easy. But, yeah, we're here to chat about homebrewing, but also about... I think this is a fun community show. I think that I hope that this is a great time for you to hang out, talk to people who you might not get to talk to on a regular basis, not just including us, but
grab a beer or a mead
or 5
and a bottle of water.
What'd you start with?
I started with your hopped. What hops are in here?
Cascade and Montuca. Montuca to bitter, Cascade to dry hop.
That's an interesting choice. Did you just have those laying around and you were like, well, I guess I'll boil the hell out of them?
I was looking up profiles, and Montuca had some more citrusy stuff that I thought would play well with lemon blossom honey, which is the base of this. And the Cascade had some...
I was wondering because it's a similar flavor to the lemon blossom traditional you gave me. Okay.
Same honey.
Picking up what you're putting down.
5%. I think it's pretty crushable. I think it's pretty good.
It's not bad. Not bad. It's I like the sweetness level. It's right on the cusp of sweet, but not so much that it overpowers those delicate hop flavors.
I'm sending it off to a competition. We're going to talk about those here in a little bit, but I'm curious to see how it does, what marks it gets.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, this says, where have we been and what's new?
Where have we been, BC? Where have you been?
Yeah, I'm working on a side project that's been a little distracting.
He's side hustling over here.
Something like that. It's been a little distracting. It's like a personal project in my life, and so it has consumed all of my free time, and I'm exhausted every single moment of every single day. So you'll notice I've put out a little bit fewer regular videos. We'll talk about that later. That's coming up, but I've got a lot going on in my life right now, and it's the holidays, and so... I've been
and it's the holidays.
Busy.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
I've been here.
What is new to you?
Well, I'm now in my Christmas break stage of life, so I get to just go crazy with my hobbies again and
true.
again. And so I'm just going to go continue to brew, do things. But I've been here. I feel like everybody's been up to date with what I've been doing as far as YouTube. Well, I say that. I'm very behind on posting stuff. My schedule's jacked up. Well, it's been jacked up for a long time. The things that people are going to see this next week are things that were finished 4 months ago. So I have
You're quite a bit ahead.
I'm quite a bit ahead, which is not a bad problem to have. It just means that I have to remember that. So when people ask about current projects, I'm like, well, I have stuff that you're not going to see for
Yeah, it's true.
5
I mean,
months.
there's a lot of in progress stuff around here.
Yeah.
But you just finished up the BrewTube Creator Awards.
I did, yeah. So that was my big. I guess that's where I've been. This has been a big event.
You've been working hard on that, dude.
Man, yeah. The first year I did it, last year, it was just mead creators, and it was quite the event. I feel like I learned a lot through that process, the way to do the award ceremony. And this year was easier, honestly. But it was still a lot of work in the taking nominations and voting and formulating everything, and then all that. It was a very fun award ceremony, and I don't know if anyone watched it. I'd be curious to see anyone live in chat if you watched it, what you enjoyed, what you didn't. Part of this is feedback. I'm okay with feedback. I feel like as a YouTuber, you have to be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will just quit after.
If not, you're gonna have a bad time.
So, I'll be curious to see what people think of that. But it was fun.
Yeah, it was very well executed.
Thank you.
The amount of labor that went into that, like, no one will understand but you. But I mean, he's been texting me progress on this thing for a while on like what the voting looked like and putting the community together, and I'm like, I can't even imagine the amount of effort that went into this.
It's a lot, but it's a lot of fun, and I hope that people get anything out of it. The awards are fun, and I want to. BC won a lot of awards, and for good reason won a lot of awards and things, and I want to honor those people. But I also hope that the nominations people received don't go unseen. That people go to those channels and go and see, oh, hey, the Brew Show is nominated for these awards. I want to go check them out, because you'd be surprised at how great content is being produced, not just by us, but also by the plethora of other people.
Yeah, there's a lot of great content out there. Last year, after the awards were over, I said, I'm going to recuse myself next year. I'm not going to take any nominations.
I didn't let him this year.
So no, you got to. I really feel like, though, I want to next year, because there are a ton of creators, and I've got a big community.
Yeah.
And so, like, I feel like sometimes that overshadows those creators who are putting a ton of effort into their content, but maybe their community hasn't built up to the size of, say, mine or yours yet.
I think next year, if I do it again and I'm on the fence, just because there's a lot of work and life can change,
Yeah.
I would probably put a cap and say, if you're above 50,000 subscribers, you're not eligible for any award. Well, it's going to put a damper on the probably nominations. People will be disappointed when their nomination doesn't get entered into the running. Also, will highlight those creators who are not going to do that. So
yeah. Antonio says, it's too bad there were no acceptance speeches this time. It didn't strike me until the night that stream was scheduled for that I was like, oh, I never sent in a video.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to this year, and then it was a quick turnaround. And so I probably should have just reached out to those people, but, I don't know. It was easier whenever there were 3. Last year there were 4 people. This time there were
That's a good point.
probably 8 or 9.
That'd be tough.
And yeah, so it just would have been.
And I was really long-winded last year.
Yeah, he ruined it for everybody. So that's actually part of it.
Yeah, no, if you do it again next year, I really do want to recuse myself, because I want to make sure some of those smaller channels, and some are not even smaller, some are bigger than mine. They just, again, I have a very active community who's excited to go out and pump up the vote.
Right.
And that maybe, not necessarily fair on my part.
I'll be right back. You entertain the folk.
The dog is barking.
He is. He's having
I
a
hear.
angry.
Yeah, I can't imagine the amount of work that goes into putting on that show, particularly with like the green screen content and the backgrounds and all of the animations for each of those pieces. Professionally, I do a lot of motion graphic stuff, and so it is a ton of work that he puts into it. So it's a lot. and I appreciate the amount of effort that he put in. I will not be doing a creator awards ever.
You won't do that?
Mostly, you watched so many videos in
There was
preparation
a lot of
for
research
that.
went into that. That is for sure.
And I just, like, even at 2x speed, it can be difficult to crank through that many videos. But I do also want to throw a shout out to the committee that Garrett put together for that, because those folks did a lot of the heavy lift on the back end, as well as being the ones helping make some difficult decisions about what does and does not qualify for the nomination and things like that, to help kind of make sure that those nominations were suitable for the content that had, for the category of content.
Yes.
And so shout out to those folks for
that was
also
a big thing. 2022, the challenge with this year was everything had to be from 2022. And so there are a lot of nominations of people that were like, I watched this video in 2020 and I really liked it. It's like, well, that's great. It's not eligible. So stuff like that, there's a lot of content watching in that regard. But it was a lot of fun. And like I said, next year I might do it. Next year, we'll see. It's a lot of work. If someone feels strongly to take the charge, the lead on it, by all means.
Go for it. I would nominate Trent. I think he's got the talent and the time to put something like that.
Sorry, I was trying to find your stuff. Did you know there's another doing the most?
Oh, man. Is that somebody ripping off my content?
Nope, but he's a trucker.
Well, he's probably
It looks like an RC truck guy.
Might be doing more than me.
Oh.
Kyle asks, when's the next Boots and Dudes? Oh, sorry. I switched to B-roll. We'll jump to that story in a minute. We're going to talk about Cattle Battle first.
Yeah. Okay, so I do want to... I feel like it's important to mention this. We're drinking a hopped mead right now, kind of almost in honor of...
Spoilers on the Clawhammer content we're going to talk about.
We're drinking a hopped mead, and this one because I made it, but also this is not the same recipe that I will be creating, or version, I'll say, for Cattle Battle. But we have this side competition of our main mead competition that we do, and we call it the Cattle Battle. It's your opportunity to brew something in a cruel manner, in that we don't tell you a recipe, we don't tell you what we put in ours, but you got to make it taste like ours. And the ingredients this year are hops, citrus,
and honey.
And I mean, that's basically it. And again, I'm not giving you information now because I don't want you to know what I'm brewing, but I want you to get real close to it. So your goal is to just start brewing, see what you come up with. You might be surprised what you can do with that combination, even if it's just for your own sake. What you do is you brew it, send it in to us, and it's part of our submission style for the competition, and then we judge it, and if you're the closest one, you win. Simple
it's
enough.
a really interesting style of competition, since it's not necessarily based on skill.
Right.
It's based on mostly luck and your skill and execution.
Yeah.
Because obviously ours is going to be good. If it turned out bad, you would just rebrew it.
Right. Exactly.
So it's unlike anything else.
It's a lot of fun, and last year was a blast. I definitely want to see more people enter, if not just to challenge yourself. New set of ingredients, get out of your comfort zone. Some people don't ever brew with hops. I watched a guy today who he made a hopped mead in a really weird fashion, I will say. And sorry, I'm trying to pull it up here. I want to put the chat right here so I can.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm having to look down, and I feel like I'm.
I don't feel bad.
Well, my neck is. But he was brewing a hopped mead, and it's a good challenge. He was talking about how it was out of his comfort zone. And it should be. That's okay. Get out of your comfort zone.
As Seen on TV asks, I don't really find out about these streams very far ahead of time. Is there a way we are able to have push notifications sent when they are scheduled? So you can hit that notification bell on my channel on any video. Just ring that bell, and that will give you a notification whenever I have new content. I'm pretty sure that works for scheduled streams.
I think so.
But that's how. And usually these are scheduled a week and a half to a week out from when we're going to have them. And so that's around the time I'll throw up the thing. But it's for the ones where we're on like on location. It's a matter of like working around the brewery's calendar and making sure they can fit us in. And,
that was part of, I think last month we didn't get a confirmation or something.
This month I didn't. I wasn't able to get a confirmation out of them. Last month we were looking at like a date early in November, and that was going to put it so close to the last one that it just didn't happen.
But it's all right. We're here now, and honestly, we were talking about earlier. It's kind of easy to do it from here. One, it's free booze.
Well, yeah, it's a lot easier than running up a tab. But big shout out to Elk Valley, though. I'm very thankful for them for hosting us the times they have, and maybe they'll host us again in the future. Just December's a hard month.
Tiger Pat asks, what are y'all drinking? We got 5 things, Tiger Pat. Right now, I'm drinking, I have a braggot that I did for a different video, but it's just a light malt braggot. And BC's sipping on a lemon honey hopped mead. But we also have some other things. Like this, I'll be curious to see what you think of this. This is a buckwheat braggot, which is bold.
Oh, right on.
Sorry, let me specify. It's a stout, so it's definitely a little heavier. So I'll be curious what you think of that when we get there. But yeah.
All right. Well, let's move over to the next big news item. There's this new keg from Clawhammer that I accidentally showed you all.
Yeah, so we got some spoilers on this one. So this is interesting. I at least thought it was interesting because I feel like there hasn't been a lot of keg technology upgrade. Mm-hmm. And people are really pushing to start to get into like an all-in-one brewing vessel. And I think Clawhammer Supply, that's a big producer of these things, came out with this new keg with the intent to have an all-in-one. You know, you can basically brew in it, and then when you're done, throw it into and like force carbonate it, do all other things. Like, you don't have to rack. That's their goal, at least. I don't know how well it works, honestly. But it has a ton of attachments. I wish I could go down the list of the 392 million attachments that it has.
It looked incredibly complicated.
It did. But it was interesting, very expensive, at least in my terms. It was like $280. So, I just want to check this real fast. So I don't know if it was. You can go back to. I was just checking audio.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's worth the money. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But I found it interesting, at least.
Yeah, it's. I gotta like carefully couch what I say because I really do appreciate the effort that Clawhammer puts into all their gear, and especially the effort they put into their videos. Their channel is amazing.
Yes, yeah.
But it does feel like this is just like yet another step toward overcomplicating homebrewing.
I can see that.
You know, I was reading this lively debate on r/homebrewing about all-in-one brewing systems. And particularly, it was from somebody who didn't really understand how they work. They thought that you like put the grains in and press a button and then come back in a few hours and have wort. But it does feel like it takes some of the like grassroots panache out of it.
Yeah.
When you're, I mean, how do you feel brewing in your electric system?
I personally like it. It's made my life better because, well, I will say this. I don't have a ton of experience in brewing a bag. I've done it once. It was okay. It wasn't my favorite thing to do, quite frankly. I've had an easier time being able to do a grain basket and all-in-one and kind of that situation. But I don't know. I don't know if I have enough experience to say otherwise.
Okay.
To be quite honest.
I really like my setup. You know, it's an old keg with the top cut off of it, a spigot welded onto the side, and the setup from a turkey fryer. You know, to give it heat, and so like it just feels rustic. It feels charming in a way that like these shiny systems where and like pressure fermentation systems. It feels like
that's fair.
That's just. Like, you're layering on a bunch of stuff, which maybe makes better beer. Maybe, but, like, it also just feels like...
I think with that, the idea is that there's no chance that you're gonna get any sort of light struck, like as you're moving it, or stuff like that. I feel like I can see the pros of that. Now, is it worth spending all the money? I don't know. It depends on if you have the money to spend. People spend a lot of money on their brewing, though. I saw a guy on one of those r/mead or homebrewing, whatever it was. Have you seen those keg, the scales that weigh the keg to tell you how much is in it, and it'll tell you how many pints or stuff?
Oh yeah, I've seen where people will put those in their like kegerator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This guy had eight kegs in his kegerator. He had all 8 of those, and they're like all Bluetooth or whatever. And so essentially, he could just pull up on his phone and see, my whatever has 10 pints left, and my this has this amount left. Like, he was able to, but which is super cool. Those are $100 a piece for those scales. So people are willing to spend the money on
that. I don't want to judge anyone, but at that point it kind of feels like maybe you got a problem. I don't know if it's a problem with alcohol or a problem with spending, but like,
yeah,
I don't know. That feels like maybe I'm doing the most. Maybe that's doing too much.
That's your other channel.
I don't know.
Did too much.
Caliente Carl says, I feel where BC's coming from. I watched one of the Clawhammer vids, some kind of first beer thing, and they were using a $1,200 all-in-one system.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a little... how do I say this? I have been very fortunate to have been sent my all-in-one system. And I don't know if I would have gone and dropped $500, $600 plus on an all-in-one independently.
Yeah.
But I also don't brew a lot of beer. And I'm just now really dipping my toes into the braggot realm and stuff like that. So maybe I'm just now getting to the point where I would be willing to spend it.
All right, let's talk about mead comps.
Hey, yeah, there's some. I know of these two at least because I'm very active with them. As far as beer brewing and wine and everything else, I don't know all of that world, so you might have to do a little more research. But for mead competitions specifically, they're still open today, as of right now. Mm-hmm. There are 2 that are still open for registration. Those include the Dorma's Cup and Texas Mead Cup. I believe they're still open. I think. I don't think they're capped out yet.
Okay.
But opportunities for you to send in stuff. I know that Texas Mead Cup has a side that also does like beer and those things. So if you're interested in that, if you would like to compete in competitions, just for like the feedback's sake, it is super helpful for your brewing world. Getting out of the bubble of giving it to mom who loves you dearly and will never tell you that your brewing tastes weird. Like giving it to somebody who doesn't know you, who's just going to give you a unfiltered opinion, is going to really help you grow. At least to hear how you're doing, And normally they can say, because they're supposed to be trained, hey, I noticed this thing. It seems like it might be this problem. And then you can kind of build from there. Mm-hmm. So
I'm always an advocate of entering competitions, even though I've had some like kind of negative experiences over the last couple of years.
I've had negative experiences, and I've had feedback that's not been great. So I
think the positives outweigh it, though.
Yeah. It's a great experience. It does cost a little money. You do have to pay an entry fee. You do have to pay for shipping your stuff, unless you're local and can drop it off. Mm-hmm. So just be prepared for that. But well worth the time. Most of the time, they only want 2 to 3 bottles. Mm-hmm. So unless you're
little bottles,
yeah, you don't have to do like a full wine bottle. But those are the 2 I know of. Feel free to go and check out the plethora of other ones. So I know that the Discord Mead Hall, they have a whole. They talk about a lot about mead competitions and things like that. You can always stay active there. I know you have a competition. I think you have a competition channel in your Discord.
Yeah, we do.
Where you update and stuff like that. So there are places to get the information if you don't know where to go.
Okay, so Texas Mead Cup closed yesterday, Kyle says.
Okay.
So that one's done. And Brian makes a good point. He says he uses his scales because he enters a ton of competition. And it helps him gauge exactly what he has in stock in a keg when planning out what he's entering.
Oh, I don't think it's bad to buy those. I'm saying that my point was that people are willing to spend money on homebrewing.
I think that's a good hashtag tips, tricks, and hacks, though.
Yeah. It's more than just
for that. Smart.
There's definitely pros. And cons, money.
Yeah, money mostly.
Hey, let's switch over. So,
you want to talk about some yeast?
we made a joke. Yeah, we made a joke a few minutes ago about BC slowly becoming the yeast guy, and you kind of took it as like I think you got offended by it, but I would take it as a compliment because I definitely see you as a competent yeast knower.
A competent yeast knower.
Where I feel like I'm a novice in that category, you know?
I guess I think you may have used more yeasts than
that doesn't mean I know everything about them, you know what I mean?
I suppose. So this one, this is like an actual like study.
Yeah. No,
anyway, so it's coming out of Ireland, and I'll throw the image here on the screen so you can check it out. So there are two types of yeast commonly used in homebrewing.
Mm-hmm.
There's Cerevisiae and Pastorius. So that's your regular old ale and wine yeasts and your lager yeast.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Pastorius is a hybrid of Cerevisiae and another yeast, right? And so I guess in 2011 they discovered this what would be the other yeast in that hybrid. And so now it has been found in Ireland and confirmed to indeed genetically be that missing link, so to speak. So the title on this is a little bit unclear because it makes it seem like a new lager yeast was discovered. But in fact, it's actually the missing link of the two yeasts that were hybridized to make Pastorius, and I'll use like loosely because it probably happened naturally on its own, right? And so anyway, it's super cool that this research is ongoing. It reminds me a lot of the research we talk about into Kvike strains and like finding those ancestral lines of yeast. And so this just like contributes to the body of knowledge about where our modern brewing lager yeasts came from.
Right.
Which I think is super cool.
There's I do love that we're able to trace things back now. Like we're able to find all these origins, and it does become confirming of like how long we've known about beer. And I feel like the more, or beer, let's say beer specifically with that one, but just brewing in general. And now you look at, not on a topic to talk about, but the dialyzed yeast and the expansion of yeast capabilities, for lack of a better term. It's pretty interesting. It is wild what we can do. And it just continues to point to the fact that yeasts do contribute a lot of things to your brew. And I think it's important to continue to denote that for the homebrewing world. Not all yeast are created equal.
They are not created equal. No, this research is super cool. Once the stream is done, maybe tomorrow or the next day, we'll have links to this stuff if you haven't Googled it already. But this actual article explains it probably way more in depth and better than I ever could. Yeah. And it's super interesting stuff.
So this next one, I don't have I took the screenshot of this little statistics portion for homebrewing for 2022.
And it'll come up on the screen here in a minute.
And I don't have the original link, although we'll find it and we'll do those things. These were some things, I was looking up some just fun stuff about homebrewing in 2022, and this is also spanning to 2021 as well. But because it says here's some fun stats. This says the global market for homebrewing, the global market size of homebrewing equipment is now worth $19.1 million. I feel like that would have been more. I don't know.
Yeah, that seems kind of low, especially when you're selling all-in-one systems for $1,200 a pop.
At which maybe there's just not a ton of those around. I don't know.
They're making it all up in those $5 wine yeasts on Amazon.
No,
shop local, y'all.
So this says by 2023 it's supposed to hit 25.4 million, which is a significant amount. The increase of beer making, we knew this, increase of beer making equipment during the pandemic in the U.S. specifically rose 40 to 50%, which I find that to be pretty cool. We definitely saw it with our channels. I feel like our channels really hit a good stride, I'll say.
Yeah.
In growth because of the pandemic. There are a lot of terrible things that happened during it, but a lot of people wanted to learn to brew.
Everybody was looking for a hobby.
which is great. A great problem to have.
You're stuck
So-
at home. You might as well make your hobby drinking.
I feel like that's kind of dipping off quite a bit at this point, but it's a whole different topic. There's a couple other interesting stats. This says there are 1.1 million homebrewers in the U.S.
I feel like that's low.
You think that's low?
Yeah. I mean, I
Okay.
don't know what they include in there, but I'm thinking like kombucha people. I'm thinking
I wonder if this is beer specific.
Mr. Beer people. I'm thinking people who are making Welch's wine. Like there are a lot of folks out there that have something fermenting on their
That's true.
kitchen countertop.
Intentionally or not.
I mean, 1.1 million doesn't seem like
Yeah.
a lot.
I don't know. It's interesting.
That's like significantly less than the population of Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Like,
Out of 300.
and then Oklahoma City,
now.
how many times you go to a grocery store clear on the other side of town and you run into somebody you know?
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
It's not that many people.
I wonder if that has to be just, maybe it's, I don't know. I wonder how they got the number. Anyways, the average age of the U.S. homebrewer is 42. How does that make you feel, BC?
I guess I'm
You're
just shy of the mean there, huh?
I just thought that was kind of fun. And the increase, well, as it says, most homebrew kits cost around 40 pounds, excuse me. I'm in a different unit. For about 40 pints, this equals about 75 pence a pint. Is that what that is?
I think so.
Pint a pint.
Homebrew kits. So that's
That's,
okay. I mean, that's pretty average. You know,
Yeah.
a brewery is looking to brew for about $1 a pint,
yeah.
and so that's on par with commercial beer. That ain't bad.
Those are just fun stats. I saw those and I was like, it's kind of cool. Not that I'm a stat guy, but it seems very interesting to look at stats and go, oh, like this is what the last 3 years have really given us through homebrewing. So, you got any fun comments here? I have it pulled up as well.
It seemed
Didn't
like
look.
Tiger Pat was concerned about the audio, but I think the audio's going just
Is it
fine.
too low? You can always bump it right here. Try
Well, he said that he was out cutting concrete with a saw all day.
Well, I bet it might have just been a little too low. He's cutting concrete with a saw.
yeah,
While
so I
watching
mean,
this.
no, like during the day. They're talking about it, that it's very rewarding to participate in competitions and get the feedback and go up against people who are as good, if not better, than you. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kyle says, "I want to know the Pruno numbers." Yeah, that's where all the
Without saying the name of the company, I am testing a product that is widely known in the homebrewing sphere for its ease and rapidness of alcohol production. And I'm curious to put this video out whenever I'm finished because there's a lot going into it. I'm putting it through all the tests. That's my goal, at least.
yeah.
Really put it to the extremes.
This bracket is interesting.
Well, yeah, what do you think about that? I kind of switched my recipe up from my first iteration of it. I used a different yeast. I think I might even changed one of the hops. I can't remember.
What's the honey?
Angico.
I have no experience with that.
It's like a light, I don't know, light clovery, bright honey. What do you get from it? Lucy loved this one, so I brewed it again.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm picking up a lot of the honey character. It's mild.
Yeah.
The whole thing's kind of mild. There's not anything that's like really jumping out at me as like flavor wise.
I feel like there's the caramel malt I used in it is really way stronger than I thought.
Yeah, there's it's got like amber ale kind of vibes. It's not as sweet as at least the ambers that I've had lately. But it's in that like vein of flavor profile. I might want a little bit more honey character.
Yeah.
I don't dislike it. I'm trying to split hairs here. It's
It is
good.
tough.
It's refreshing.
Brackets are tough because it's like how much honey character do you lean into? Like I'll be curious when we get to this buckwheat, like what your notes are on it. Because I'm also sending this off to one of those.
Oh, nice.
Folks. I'm curious. Just for again, I'm not looking to meddle. I'm just want to get people's opinions of it and stuff like that. So that kind of takes us to what we're brewing. I know you've been really busy. Do you got anything going on in your brewing world right now?
I am wrapping up a sponsored video. I may have talked about this on a previous podcast, where a sponsor sent me a commercial grade juicer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm doing it's a kind of a man-made mead style test. It's I ended up doing it with a cider, but testing juicing the fruit and only using the juice.
Yeah.
Or just freezing, thawing, and crushing the fruit. And so it's like a side-by-side.
Interesting. That's
so
interesting.
Same fruit load, but only the juice from one and the full fruit from the other. I can tell you the one that had full fruit, so it was a cranberry cider. It is very red. It's like this color of red. And then the one where I only use juice is like slightly red.
How did you have to adjust pH?
I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything different. It's literally...
And it fermented? Just fine?
I mean, it's just apple juice and cranberry. It's not all cranberry juice.
I thought it was all cranberry. Sorry.
No. It's a cider. Okay. So the real test is what tastes better. Not necessarily what brings more of that fruit character, but what made a better cider. Was it the one that uses the juice or the one that uses a full fruit load? And so I may have you participate in the taste test for that one.
I got 2 weeks. Call me up.
It's bottle conditioning now. It should be done bottle conditioning probably around the first of the year.
Oh, yeah.
And so...
I'm always down to try.
That'll be interesting. I need to put that juicer more to work, though, because now I'm like, I've got this industrial juicer, and you can like put like a lemon in it, and and it just squirts the juice out one side and all the stuff out the other side. It's so intense. Whoa. It's a pain in the butt to clean.
Yeah, I bet.
You have to like take it apart, and it's got this screen in there.
That same company, because I know who you're talking about, reached out to me and they've been adamant to send me, you know, that keg you got that you used for your pumpkin spice alcohol one. They really wanted to send me that, and I was like, I've already done a big thing on this, but I really wanted to get. There's a fruit press like you have. And so I was like, hey, I want to be able to do more of this. And they're like, this thing doesn't really sell, so we're not willing to. Interesting. I was like, okay, well, so.
Maybe it would if you did a review on it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll help you out. Who knows? But I wanted to do more no water stuff. That's one of my goals, but I need a fruit press. And so it would have worked out. But
you're always welcome to borrow mine, too. Yeah. It gets used like once a year.
Yeah, I probably just need to. Also need to go and get up all the fruit. Part of it is just like, what fruit can I get right now? Anyways, I've always got a lot of stuff on my channel. I'm trying to think what's current, because if I start talking about my projects I'm doing right now, it's not going to go it's just you won't know. Yeah. 4 months from now, you'll hear about it. I used Christmas berry honey. I got 2 videos coming out soon. One is traditional. One's a Bochet. Those were kind of interesting. It's pretty interesting kind of honey. I wish I had a bottle of it. I would open it to try. Other than that, I've been sitting on like a. I mentioned it before, but I'm not going to talk about it again because it's not going to come out till summertime. I just keep talking about things. I have so many things I'm excited about, but I don't want to like. I just know that if I talk about them now,
gives people something to look forward to.
Well, I'm sure they've heard about my 20 yeast experiment, but that'll be a long time before that comes out because I'm intentionally waiting to a year for the tasting of that, and I'm going to get a lot of people to be a part of that tasting. So there's that. I did a dandelion mead for the first time, but I feel like also that's a more close to summertime video. Yeah, got a lot of stuff like that.
I need to open a bottle of mine. It's like 2 years old now. Yeah. Maybe it's circled the block and. There was a while where it was tasting kind of grassy. Yeah, it's interesting how age can do things to a flavor profile.
Oh, we'll talk about this. You want to switch? This is going to switch your gears for a second. Pull this guy right here.
Okay.
This is one. I'm sorry, it's not going to be on the channel for probably 4 months or so. I used crud.
As seen on TV, volunteers for your 20 yeast tasting. He's local. So.
He is local. It's true. Holy cow! I just blanked on the.
This smells.
Lahua honey.
Spicy.
Sorry, Lahua honey. This is my very close attempt to a banana, like pudding, banana cream pie kind of thing. And I also did a traditional with this honey because I like doing that.
You know, I recently did a banana cream pie mead tasting with Baywood Mead.
Oh.
She was in town and wanted to quick record a
this
tasting
is great.
video.
I'm curious what your...
And I think it just came out on her channel.
Yeah, I think she's been posting some great stuff if you haven't seen it. She does book reviews, which is a lot of fun too.
Mm-hmm. That's content that's been sorely needed on YouTube.
Well, I'm curious now.
Okay. There's like a spicy note in here, but I'm picking up the banana and I'm picking up that like soft, velvety kind of cream note. Oh yeah, that's accurate.
It's like real bananas, honey, graham crackers, a little bit of vanilla.
So the graham crackers where I'm getting that spice from.
Graham cracker, add some more honey back in there.
Yeah, that's pretty darn accurate. I'd like to taste this side by side with hers because hers tasted like you know when you like your kid, you go with your grandma to the cafeteria. Those like old people restaurants and they have the banana cream pie they scoop out of those big troughs. That's what hers tastes like. I mean, it was like a nostalgia flashback.
Interesting.
To like banana cream pie with Nilla wafers stuffed in it. You know.
That's a great thing to achieve though. That's
you're like unlocking a core memory that you didn't know you had.
That's like a dream. I want to be able to like make something that is of that or hit the flavor profile, which is really hard sometimes. So this will eventually be out on the channel.
That's pretty good. That's darn close. And I think really all it needs is a little bit of age. I can taste a little bit of youthful vigor.
We're like 2 months old at this point, so it definitely needs a little bit of time to chill out.
But a few more months, and that should mellow nicely. Man, now I feel like I gotta do something with bananas and lactose.
So I went and bought like 4 or 5 pounds of bananas and just chopped them up and froze them, and threw them right in. It was pretty easy.
Kyle asks, what is your white whale mead style? Something you want to perfect or has been a challenge?
I've always wanted to do a Vajniak. Always been scared to, quite frankly, because it is pretty wild. Aside from that, I don't know, man. I hit so many. I played around with so many crazy ideas that I don't know that I'm like really scared of stuff. The Vajniak is just like so many ingredients that like if you go wrong and do the wrong thing, you're just basically burning a couple of Benjamins.
Yeah, my Dwajniak ended at 1060, and I found it too sweet, so then I was having to try and like bring it back with a traditional mead made with the same honey to try and like dilute it down some. And then I guess it's traditional that you can fortify it with brandy. So in like a last ditch effort before bottling, I dumped an entire bottle of brandy into the carboy. And so at that point I was like, okay, I'll put a little bit of just a tiny amount of acid adjustment to it. And I was like, whatever. I'm trying to age this one for 21 years. So I'm just going to bottle it and go, and we'll worry about it a couple of decades from now. But it's hard, man. It's hard because
that's
it's
what
like,
scares me.
It's a persistent nutrient battle of trying to make sure it has what it needs when it needs it without dialing back too much and without going overboard.
It takes me back to my attempt to make a 25% mead. That video took me about a year to do, and that was four attempts at it, learning through the mistakes, adding nutrients, starting with this. Like that video was a pain. But it's a lot of fun. You should go check it out.
Yeah, I think if I was going to try and perfect a style, I think I'm still chasing the dry traditional.
Yeah. I feel like I've had one good one, but I want to do it again. I want to see if I can get there again.
That's tough. That's tough to do. And I mean legit dry. I mean 1.000 or lower, but still having all that character you're looking for. I know that like people have made dry.
Did you taste my Mamain one?
I don't think so.
Oh man, I might have to open up a bottle.
Okay.
Because I go ahead, continue your thing.
I'm just saying, like I know technically dry is kind of a subjective, especially when it comes to competitions. It seems like.
Oh yeah, this is where I got burned.
But I would like to make one that is dry, that is hydrometer dry, and still really pops. So, we'll see.
We're going to open this, so you're going to stall for a second.
Oh, I got to stall. Okay. Well, let's take a look at chat then. Ryu says that Italy is just starting with homebrewing competitions. Which,
just now?
Yeah, I guess they're just getting into it. How big is Italy though? Like compared to,
it's got to be like 50 people in it.
Compared to Oklahoma, how big is Italy? Because like if it's smaller than Oklahoma, you could say Oklahoma is just getting started with competitions, right?
I've disturbed. This thing was clear. I've disturbed the small amount of sediment.
Okay.
That is there. It's a bummer.
Yeah, they'll survive. Let's see. Tim asks, you ever think about making a wine mojito? Wine or mead?
Hey, you know what you can do, Tim? There's this thing called the Discord Mead Project.
Oh.
I do lots of videos. If you would like to lead that, I will make whatever mead recipe you come up with. You got to hop in my Discord, and you come up with a recipe. You can help have everybody come up with a recipe, and I'll brew it.
How do we
send you a bottle? Give
how
you
do we
$50.
get to your Discord?
Discord. Well, there's a. What's the best way to do this?
Discord.
It's got a weird like.
.gg.
No, mine's discord.io/manmademead.
Well, there you go. Discord.io/manmademead. Type that in. Go to his Discord. He'll give you $50.
You got till tomorrow though.
To buy ingredients or
no, you get $50
just for fun.
I mean, just for being part of it, and I buy you I buy you a piece of merchandise. You be a part of the tasting.
Hell's bells! You hear that, folks? You can get $50 from this guy.
This video series is a loss to me because I make like $2 from that video.
Dude, I wish people even understood how little money we make on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm out. That raspberry last one cost me $60 just to make the mead, and then I.
Yeah, you look at analytics 2 weeks later, and it's like
I made $3.
$3.82.
People get mad. You take a sponsored content.
Oh man!
All right, so here's the beef. You ready for the beef with this one? Dry, 1.000, totally dry. Sent this was Mazer Cup. Sent it to Mazer Cup, and before I say what they said, I want you to taste it.
Okay. I can pick up a little booze in the nose.
Yeah. There's definitely
2021.
Yeah.
It's over a year old.
10.5. It's also oak.
I mean, I'm inhaling the hell out of it though.
Yeah. Yeah, BC put his whole nose. I don't know if
well,
you heard that.
my allergies are messed up right now, and so like I feel like I have to really bury myself in something to pick up the scent. All right. That is dry. There's like a hint of sweetness though.
Mm-hmm.
Good acid balance. I definitely pick up the oak.
Yep. There's layers of this that are so interesting. You'll find interesting at least. One, the oak. 3-gallon batch. Okay. Oak spiral of one of those regular oak spirals for 3 days.
Yeah, it's.
And I like tasted it and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta pull this thing off. Everyone talks about oak spirals like 2 weeks, 6 weeks on the package.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you gotta check that stuff because.
I mean, it's bordering on woody.
Mm-hmm. And here's what is interesting. There are comments where it is too sweet to be considered in the dry category.
Okay.
And is that a conversation? No, I almost put one of our topics in here about that. About the BJCP scale for sweet, dry, semi, all that stuff. Because I wanted to talk about this. But also this is a great point. This is 1.000, but they perceived it as too sweet, and so I got knocked severe points.
I mean, it's dry. There's like a hint of sweetness where I could believe that you like put a couple of grains of erythritol in the glass before I drank it.
Is that being...
no, it's not too sweet to be considered dry.
No, but what I'm saying is the honey character,
mm-hmm.
the niceness of the honey character contributing to a perceived sweetness.
It could be. It could be a perceived sweetness from that oak.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes that woody kind of character feels a little sweet.
I just remember I got my feedback and I was like, wait a minute. And I pulled a bottle out and I opened it up and I was like, this does not
No,
scream.
I would all day long put this in the dry category. I wouldn't even get close to like off dry.
Right.
This is dry, with just that hint of floral, like just like a whiff of sweetness that lets you know there's honey in there.
So what's interesting is BJCP says 1010 and below is dry. So technically you could bump it up to 1010. A little bit of sweetness there.
And some things could be fairly sweet.
Exactly. So my point is, dry should be, I think, considered by the person, not by the hydrometer. Because they don't have a hydrometer at competitions. They're not going to go and check your gravities. Mm-hmm. They're going by taste. Mm-hmm. So maybe I should have assumed and put it in a semi. Maybe it would have done better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's nice. It's a lovely drink. I'm feeling the little bit of a swimminess from this one. And drink through all these glasses, and not until this one was like, oh, I'm drinking
Crack
alcohol.
open that bottle of water.
Right on.
Well, let's jump into this month in brewing. So these are the top, normally 5 posts from this month, but we have 4. So I found this one interesting. This is, just based off the photo, you'll see. Obviously, I think everyone who homebrews can probably determine what happened. Essentially, there was an oopsie. Airlock exploded. Something exploded. Went to the ceiling. I feel like everybody's been there with some sort of error.
Yeah. I've done this a few times.
It's like a rite of passage as a homebrewer to like have this happen, and then you're like, okay, I got it out of my system.
The last time this happened to me, I was using a blow-off tube. And the blow-off tube got clogged.
That's crazy.
Oh, it was a project from my Discord that I need to wrap up at some point. It's just been sitting and aging, but it had marshmallows in it.
Oh.
And so the marshmallows were all stuck to the ceiling, and I wasn't in there for like a day or so. So they like glued themselves to the ceiling, and I had to pick them off.
Oh man.
With like a chisel to get them off my ceiling.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was
great.
Did
they spill anything cool or draw anything? That could have been art. You could take a photo of that.
It looked like
NFT. There you go.
Mother Teresa, actually. I sold it on eBay for $82.
So
cut it out of my ceiling.
My big thing with this photo is, based off the color alone, I want to know what people think it was. What do you think? What do you think they're fermenting?
Look at the color on that. It's like
the color is pretty odd.
Blue black.
And I mean, there's only a few things that it could be, but also I haven't really seen many meads that color. Or I think this was on the r/mead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So not been many meads that are that color. I'm curious what people think ended up happening.
Yeah, and I don't think the OP said what kind of mead it was either.
No, they never said. They just said, oops, look what happened.
It's intense. You think maybe it's like blackberries or something?
It's gotta be. Or blueberry, or what else is that? It's like
mulberry. It looks color? Like black mold.
It does.
Like if an inspector came in, you'd get shut down.
It's too dark to be normal.
That's nutty.
I'm gonna let you take this next one because you actually said you've seen them before. There are some new beer caps in the universe. Well, maybe not new.
I mean, they may be new for the homebrew scene.
Yeah.
But I've seen these in the Caribbean before. Man, I feel like it was like Red Stripe or something similar that I saw with caps like these. And basically, it's like a pry-off cap. So it's capped just like normal, but there is a pull tab where you can lift your cap up so you're not having to use... It's not a twist off. It's not a bottle cap or a bottle opener style thing. And so this person had posted, I guess they had bought some for homebrewing purposes, and we're going to test them out. Now, I didn't see
the
results of this because I'm curious... And I'm sure whatever website sells these will let you know, but I'm curious if you use a regular crown capper with these.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I won't see why not, because I guess, though. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about that. The way it crimps.
There's no crimp edge on here. And so I'm curious. True. Maybe you just maybe a mallet, put it on there and...
Hey, they'll just go through and...
I don't know.
I'm all about that. That's...
from my experience with them, they pull off real easily. It's like whoosh, they come right off, and so part of me wonders what that seal.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in a commercial setting they have the proper gear and equipment to make that work, but at home, are you going to be able to get a really airtight seal on that?
Maybe.
I have no idea.
Maybe I'll buy some.
It's
And
cool.
We'll put it to the test.
I hope it's all made out of metal. This looks like the pull tab. I
And
don't
from
know.
what I remember looking at them, it had the what's it called? The oxygen seal. What's it called? Crap. I forgot what the name of it. Anyways, had the proper sealing things.
Okay.
There. So I don't know. It was interesting. I saw that and I was like, could be fun for people, but it's also not that hard to just have a bottle.
I mean, I keep one on my keys. I have since high school, and so they're coming for us. And so I even you can just put it on the edge of a table and but
or your ring, as BC does.
Yeah, I do. Sometimes I'll open them with my ring. I just don't see the point, I guess. And if that is a plastic pull tab, then that's just more plastic crap. And
it's true.
I'm not interested in that. All right, this next one is up to you.
So
I had not heard of Soylent.
I had explained
other
to
than the movie Soylent Green.
Soylent is a drink, plant-based drink. It's gluten and vegan.
It's plant-based,
and it's basically a meal replacement. And it's blown up in the past probably 10 years. I think.
Is it at least like fruit plant-based? You're just making me think of
Here's the thing. I saw some also controversy on this because like the list of ingredients is pretty bonkers on what's in it. It's like, I mean, it's a lot of stuff.
Interesting.
So somebody, I felt kin to this person because this is my life, tried to ferment Soylent with USO5. He basically took, he said 1/2 cup of Soylent in 12 ounces of water. So super small amount because he said, I'm not wasting a gallon batch on this crap. And 1.020 starting gravity. Threw some SO5 in there.
Okay.
Let it ferment. And said it went crazy fermenting. And he does this whole, in the Reddit thing, he talks about the taste and the aroma and the body mouthfeel and all these things.
Funky, but in an unsettling way.
Yeah. So essentially it didn't go well, which I'm not surprised because how could that go well? How could Soylent, this meal replacement shake that is literally just like cram as many nutrients and vitamins and things in there as possible? But it seems interesting. I love this. Don't boil the Soylent. It forms an unappealing skin that doesn't go away.
So this is reminding me on r/prison hooch over the last month. Somebody tried to ferment that grass. I think it was grass seed, like a bag of, like you would use to patch a rough patch in your yard with grass seed. They ended up pouring it in the toilet. But it's just kind of like, not everything's made to be fermented.
I don't know, man. I told you about my 2 projects. I'm not spoiling those because I think they're just too silly to spoil. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe some things are supposed to be fermented.
Murloc says, "This is disgusting," with like a D colon. Okay. Last one. This I love because this has been an ongoing conversation for the last year. But a user on r/mead hand separated LD Carlson's yeast nutrient because visually you can see the difference between DAP and Urea. And so a little bit you can do it like panning gold, where they'll kind of separate naturally based on their density. And then this user just kind of separated them out and weighed them in different bags, and there's a significant portion of Urea.
Which, this was a topic that was introduced maybe a year ago, right? Somebody put a big post on it that was like talking about noticing, hey, there seems to be a lot of Urea in this DAP, in this nutrient.
Yeah, Chef was leading the charge on this for a while. Yeah.
Now, can you explain why Urea is bad?
Yeah, there are 2 main reasons. One is that Urea can form a carcinogen as part of the fermentation process. And so you're literally, I mean, it's like you're brewing cigarettes, like you're literally creating a carcinogen with this nutrient in there. And then the other part is that it smells like pee. And so if there's Urea left over, that didn't get consumed by your yeast, it can smell kind of like cat piss. Which is awful. And so it's not necessarily,
just to clarify,
the worst thing to use a nutrient with urea in it if all of the urea gets consumed by the yeast. But because we can't guarantee that, it's best to avoid it at all costs.
Yes.
And you're not even allowed to use it in commercial winemaking. And so it shouldn't be in there. It shouldn't be in any nutrient source that's sold at a brew shop. And LD Carlson should feel bad and apologize for not just for including it, but for making it half the flippin' bag.
Right.
It's outrageous. It's egregious.
I do wonder what the blowback will be.
Nobody should buy LD Carlson products is what the blowback should be. If you can't trust them to make a proper yeast nutrient, what's in all the other stuff they're selling?
It's true.
Because they sell a ton of stuff. So, I don't know. I wouldn't trust them based on this post. Demand better is my feedback.
Yeah, that kind of ties into it. We've talked about this a lot, I think, on this show. But supporting local, if you can, is a big deal. Obviously, the local people are going to have probably LD Carlson in their arsenal of things. And so you're still going to have to navigate those waters. But support local if you can. And there are also other, I feel like, reputable online shops that do have great things. So, and even your local homebrew store, if let's say you live 40 miles away, might ship. They still do ship. Some local people still ship. So
ours does.
Yeah. So you could get it from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, if you live in the U.S. at least.
Tell Gail and Tanner I said hi.
Yeah, you might get a
homie discount.
Yeah,
or
probably.
They might throw like a sticker in there.
Yeah, they might be like, hey, glad we know them.
Yeah. Yeah. LD Carlson, cut it out. Just stop. Just stop. My toddler knows how to stop. You can stop too.
Do better.
Be best. This is a list of folks who support my channel.
Ooh.
Thank you to all those folks for providing support either through Patreon or through their YouTube membership. This here is the list of folks that support his channel.
I need to update this list because there are a lot of people who have canceled their subscription. But to those of you who
still getting perks.
Yeah, still get the perks of this. Thank you. But if you would like to support us, this is an easy way to do it. We made a joke earlier about analytics and YouTube, but there's no money unless you are a very large channel pulling in a ton of views. There's not a lot of money in YouTube, and this is a not cheap hobby. Correct. And of course, we are very aware that many of you brew and gain zero. You don't get any money from it. You're actually investing money. We understand that too. Our layer is that we have to continue to create content, hopefully good content for you. So if you want to support us in that goal, feel free to hit those buttons and Patreons and things. It's pretty cheap. Mine's like $2. And
mine's all over the map. You can spend up to $99 on mine.
Oh, mine is the bare minimum is $2, and you get to see all my videos a week early. So that's my pro.
You put a lot of effort into that, and I commend you for it.
Well, I have the content to be able to do it right now. I've got the buildup of content. One day, we'll not have that same.
As Seen on TV wants to give a point of clarification that LD Carlson does have multiple products, and the one that contains DAP does say that, or that contains urea along with DAP, does say that it has urea on the package. However,
but still, why have the options?
They shouldn't sell it, period.
Yeah.
And particularly because new folks who have no idea and just want to grab the cheap yeast nutrient, have no idea what they're buying.
Oh man,
And for it to be up to half urea, a thing that is likely not going to get completely consumed, is a disservice to a new brewer. Imagine making your first mead and it comes out smelling like cat piss on the other side, and you think you did something wrong.
Yeah.
It's disreputable.
There are a lot more new brewers than there are experienced brewers. There's I feel like if there's a graph, this is like, it starts like this. It's like an upside down bell curve of like beginning ton of new brewers. Then the middle is like very few like middle ground, and then a lot of experienced.
Mm-hmm.
So most people never really make it to the experienced because they have a bad brew or they, stuff like that. And so
they follow a recipe that's not trusted, and then end up with something weird on the other side.
Yeah. Okay, I'm curious what you think of this. Before we move on to talk about some new things, this is a buckwheat braggot stout.
Whoa.
It is thick, my buddy. You'll find this interesting. The other braggot I gave you, he was tasting, and he kept noting. He's such a fun guy. He kept saying, "Man, I feel so healthy drinking this." I told him there's honey in it, and I was like, he kept noting that. He's like, "Dude, I just feel like I'm so like this feels like so clean and like healthy," and I was like, I mean, I don't know healthy, but like
this thing has staying power.
So then I said, "What do you want to brew?" And he's like, "I like stouts." It's like, okay. And he was like, "But I want to brew a braggot. I want to do it with honey." Well, I got all this buckwheat honey. What can I do with it? So I went up to Liberty, who is the guy at the Learn to Brew. Super great guy. Mm-hmm. We created a stout recipe with buckwheat honey as part of its base. And that's what we have here. And it'll be a video with some other stuff in the future. And yeah. What do you
The
get?
sweetness level is really well balanced. That's tough to execute with honey in a stout, I feel like. I'm curious, is there like a chocolate malt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. There's Adept Nonsense says, what's ABV? It's like a 9 or 9.5 maybe. And grain bill, pretty wild. I don't have it handy. I'd have to look at my stuff.
Yeah,
But
I'm picking up some like chocolate malt or they also sell like midnight wheat. But there's something dark and chocolatey and just like erring on the side of bitter, which makes me think chocolate malt.
The buckwheat is like, I'm happy where it is, because buckwheat can be overwhelming real fast. It can be like, holy cow, I'm sucking on some straw if you're not careful. So I kind of like where it's at, although I'm sending this off as well to one of these competitions, and I bet they're going to...
pretty good. I think they might ding you on the chocolate malt, on that bitter, kind of burnt kind of note. But I don't hate it, because I think it does offset the buckwheat.
Yeah.
Like it's like a little bit of a distracting factor from the buckwheat.
We'll see. Again, another one of those. Send to a competition and just see what happens.
The sweetness is really well balanced, though.
Thank you.
Like
buckwheat honey is like...
It's a stout on the front, and it's a mead on the back, which is kind of a fun...
I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. That's fun.
Yeah, no, you pick up the honey on the back. It's nice.
Christopher Morrow says, "What did I miss? Urea is no good nutrient." No, it is. BC had a great explanation of it.
It becomes a carcinogen, and if yeast don't consume all of it, it smells like pee-pee. That's it.
All right, BC, let's talk about this. This is we always have a segment, and we don't have an audience tonight. We'd like to incorporate an audience. Live audience,
we got these folks,
right? We normally have a live audience, I should say. So we normally like to try and incorporate. Obviously, not going to happen with a wall. If you have an opinion in the comments, feel free to let us know. But we're going to talk about your perfect brew room. If you had all the money in the world that you needed to purchase all the brewing equipment that you wanted, what would your brewing room look like?
Okay. Am I starting?
Yeah, I want you to start.
Okay, great. So there would be a floor drain.
Oh, yes.
Right in the middle.
Oh, man. Great. I love this start because that's like so key. I can't. That one time I spilled 5 gallons of mead in here, man, I would have killed for a floor drain.
There would be a floor drain right in the middle of the room. The entire room itself would be water resistant or waterproof. So that way, once a quarter, I could go in there with a pressure washer and just wash the whole room down. I would like it to be like 16-foot ceilings.
Woo.
And everything would be on...
You're building a loft? What are you doing?
Yeah, something like that. No, it'd be 16-foot... I mean, even the same room I have right now, but with 16-foot ceilings. And I would have this system where, like window washers, they're on those like little things and they
Oh, yeah.
All my stuff would be on those, and at the press of a button, I could say,
man.
I could say, hey Google, bring me the traditional meads, and all the 5-gallon carboys with traditional meads would
This is turning to a smart house. You're designing a smart house.
would come down so I could access them, right? Because I'm so tired of my brew room just having stuff on the floor everywhere. All of my refrigeration would be built into the wall. It would not be sitting out in the middle of the room.
Yep.
It would be
Cool.
flush with the wall. And any space that wasn't being used for gear and equipment and my fancy system of uppy downies.
This is turning to a theater. You know, like at theaters, they have all the pulleys. You just go over and there's a little button, like turn on the one.
It would all be on my Googles, so I could just ask Google to do it. But all of the other space would be wine racks. And so I could store all of my wine, and then obviously I would have a like blackout situation on the windows. I hate having windows in that room.
Mm-hmm.
And then additionally, for my purposes, I would have proper studio lighting, and I would have boom mics that I could pull down.
Would it come down
ceiling.
on the thing?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Hey Google, bring me my mic.
Yeah. Hey Google, microphone 2, please. So that way it's like a perfect space for all that. I think that's achievable.
I think that's achievable. Oh,
what would be your?
I'm imagining. What's funny is I'm imagining your current house.
Yeah, with this
that
setup.
room. That room. You just like walk in. You're like, what the?
Yeah, like the James Bond theme plays when I come through the door. Ba-dum, ba-dum. And the music from the GoldenEye pause screen would play.
Oh. On loop. Podcast listeners, I'm so sorry. This is a great time to say there's a podcast version of this. If you don't have time to watch it live, there's a podcast that comes out normally the next day or the day after that we record these, so you can listen live. You can not live, but
dun 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 dun. Just it's like ambiance, you know.
Perfect.
Okay, what would your how many washers?
You have really thought about this.
How many washers and dryers would you have?
3 at least.
3. Okay. There's kind of like a laundromat side where people could come in and do their.
I think
their
that's
wash.
I think that's my next merch is going to be like a washer.
A washer with like beer bottles coming out of the front of it. I would buy 3 of those. I'd buy the adult onesie version of that.
Just says man-made meat on the front. People are like, why? What does this doesn't make sense? Floor drain. I'm sold. Definitely that. Floors you can just clean up easy. That's a gem right there. Mm-hmm. My thing is I've seen so many really cool back like tap areas that I would love to have a setup where I have all my like almost like a bar setup as my background.
Okay.
So that'd be my brew room, and I want to get all of my like brewing, like all of this stuff away. Like I want to be able to just have my taps back behind and like a bar, and just do everything from there with like a nice, sink, like a giant like kitchen, like farm kitchen.
I didn't even think about sinks.
Yeah, like giant farm kitchen sink with one of those nice sprayers.
Big sink. Big sprayer. Yeah.
Comes down with Google.
Yeah. Hey Google.
Bring my sprayer.
Clean my carboys. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, nice sink.
You want like a...
Maybe an own dishwasher, like, next to it, just some, like, glasses and stuff, like, behind the bar. I mean, that sounds...
Oh, one of those commercial ones where you, like, pull the sheath down, and it washes them in, like, 3 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's what I want right there.
All right.
Maybe some... I mean, I like the idea of above storage, of keeping that. Like, I think I'll probably continue that, so, like, tall ceilings are nice. Or... I'm still trying to convince my wife of this one day, is like if I get a long room, build a false wall that will be like where I like put all of my storage back behind. So there's a door and then it leads to the
like
storage.
A storage speakeasy.
And then you just put like your keezer or kegerator back behind and have the connections all go into the taps. That would be super sick.
That would be legit. I don't know that this home is the right place.
This home is not it. This is, yeah. I think I could wing out and almost touch the walls here. So
Chris is giving a callback to one of my old tips and tricks videos that you got to have a bidet in there too.
Oh man.
I mean, I got a lot of flack for that online. People telling me I was just clickbaiting that, but I still use my bidet regularly for brewing.
I use my dryer all the time for brewing. You know what I mean?
Like you said, it speeds up the aging process.
I can't believe how many people were so mad in the comments.
Good stuff. A game collector says, floor drain, white tile floors, copper boil kettles ranging from 1 to 2 barrel system. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm bought in.
Yeah.
4 to 6 barrel system, 8 to 10 barrel system, 2-ton fermenters, and multiple casks like hogsheads and kilderkins, firkins, and pins. I don't know what those last few words. That sounds like the name of like the Oompa Loompa coming out. Oompa Loompa.
Firkin, come here, Firkin.
Doopity drain. Isn't homebrewing really a pain? No, that's I'm with you up until those things that I don't know. But yeah, I would love to have a couple of multi-barrel systems.
That's true.
Where you could just like dump a bunch of honey in there and go.
It brings up the next. Johnny P. Always coming through with good questions. He says, what do you do with everything you brew? Drink it all or give it all away? If you had a 1 to 2 barrel system, you're going to have to start giving a lot of stuff away.
Yeah.
Because you're not clearing through that yourself.
No.
And we're not exactly commercial, so
yeah, no. The heart of the question is, what do you do with everything? And for me,
it doesn't matter where it goes.
There is so much giving away.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, pretty much anytime a friend comes to my house, they leave with 12 bottles of something.
You almost need. I'm getting this canning system. You might have to borrow it to start doing a little canning. I
might.
Because cans are going to be really easy. I am converting to some canning side because I want to be able to not have to worry about bottles. And cans are a little expensive, but you can also get a lot of them for decently cheap.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think that I'll let you know. I'll try it.
Yeah, no, I want you to really thoroughly vet that system before I ever.
The nice thing is that system is all you need is a drill, and then of course the cans and stuff, which we could always go in and just put some.
Caliente, Carlos. The Oompa Loompas can control the pulleys.
Hey,
there you go. Yeah, you called it Google and it just like zaps them with a cattle prod. Oh.
That's why 16-foot ceilings. They have that's where their loft is, where they sleep.
Yeah, they sleep up there. I give a lot of stuff away. I also, if I've got a third of a keg of something and I need a keg, I feel no shame in dumping it out.
I've dumped many a keg because. I mean, the truth is, like, and then some people are going to go, like, oh, I can't believe you've done that. But, like, it is okay to dump stuff if you're going to make more. You know what I mean? Like, normally when I dump stuff, it's, like, the last gallon. Or, very rarely has it been, like, 5 gallons of something. But...
Yeah, and I think for us, we're in a unique set of circumstances where folks have to understand that we're, for YouTube, producing such a high quantity of stuff.
Yeah.
And... you and I both really budget our brews based on what the YouTube income looks like.
Yeah.
And so we are fortunate to have the luxury, the privilege of being able to dump stuff and not economically feel it.
It's true. It is true.
But
to an extent, there is still a point where I go,
sure, but like folks should feel no shame either about doing that. If it didn't turn out good, if you need the container for something else, if you don't feel like bottling it and giving it to other people, don't feel any shame about dumping something out.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to have you switch gears a little bit, drink-wise.
Where are we going?
So,
we're going to
Red
the Red
Boy.
Okay.
So this is a recent on the channel. Discord mead number 5. Again, I'll plug this because I don't think people are understanding how much money you can make from this, but also how, honestly, not hard it is. This is a series where I have a Discord person... someone from a Discord design a recipe. Essentially, you become the leader, and you can design via yourself, or you can poll the people. You can literally use every resource. I make the recipe. I send you some bottles. You help me with the tasting. I give you $50 and a T-shirt and just easy stuff. But this is a raspberry cheesecake mead. Our good friend Larry was the designer.
It does smell like raspberry cheesecake.
It does.
I was trying in my head to think, what is this?
It really, it's disorienting.
Yeah.
Larry crushed it with this.
Adept Nonsense says it's always good fertilizer. I do want to give a point of order on that. We dumped all of the leftover Mead Stampede bottles that weren't in metal contention into Anna's grandparents' backyard, and we killed like a 15-foot stretch of grass off their back porch by dumping all that meat out there. It's just like a bald patch. No. So maybe not fertilizer.
Maybe not fertilizer.
If you've got weeds,
weed killer,
weed control. Dump it in your driveway in those the gaps in the concrete. This smells really freaking good. It smells very sweet.
Well, I'm curious what you think of that, because we kind of went back and forth on how sweet you go.
I keep forgetting how full you filled this up, and I literally just dipped my nose in it. Look at this. Look at this pour.
Listen, it's maybe it's really good. Maybe you'll love it. Maybe you'll hate it.
Let me dry my face. That's pretty darn close. What accounts for the cheesecake flavor?
Cheesecake powder.
Like the mix that you would use to make a cheesecake? Like a boxed...
Larry had to special order it, so I don't remember where it came from exactly. He sent me the stuff, because I was like, I don't know where to get cheesecake powder. And he was already buying a bunch. He's like, I don't need...
Of course. Why wouldn't you be buying a bunch of cheesecake powder?
He was like, I don't need...
It's cheesecake powder season.
He's like, I don't need a pound of cheesecake powder, so he sent me like 8 ounces of it.
I mean, they make like... Sorry, my nose is full of mead now. Thank you. They make like boxed cheesecake, no-bake cheesecakes where you just like mix everything up and then put it in the fridge for an hour. Yeah. I mean, it tastes like cheesecake. It tastes like raspberries. I think the only change that I would make would be to the viscosity. I would hit it with some maltodextrin. Is there lactose in here?
Yes.
Maybe more of that?
Yeah.
Like, I want some chew to it.
It is carbonated. It's about like...
Oh, it's carbonated?
8%. Yep, it's supposed to be carbonated, but also it's been sitting for an hour.
It's relatively still. Interesting. Because I don't know that I would want this carbonated. I think I would want it leggy and like
about 8%. We ended up carbonating it, and honestly, it tastes pretty dang. I feel like as close as you can get to a raspberry cheesecake without being
the flavor is nearly spot on.
And it's just interesting because I haven't used a lot of obviously cheesecake powder.
Yeah.
So, cream cheese powder, excuse me.
Cream cheese powder.
I don't know. It's interesting and it's fun. And that Discord meet is a great opportunity to be a part of something fun and new. And here's what's important. Tomorrow, Larry is going to be choosing somebody. So if you want to lead this charge, it's as simple as getting in the Discord, which is discord.io/manmademead. You can also find it on my channel. Just look it up. You can find it. And there's a specific channel that's the Discord discussions, or tag Larry and he can help you find it. But shoot your shot and say, hey, I have an idea, and he's going to pick somebody. But it's a lot of fun. This is an interesting... I would have never in a million years said, you know what I want to make? A raspberry cheesecake mead. Even me. And I make some crazy stuff. So
this is pretty good. Larry, I hate to say this, but I think this may be better than the key lime pie mead. I mean, it really nails that flavor.
It's pretty dang good. It's all him. I just followed everything he said.
Larry, bang up job, buddy.
He sent me actually in this care package. He sent me some key lime pie meads. With some differences, and so that was kind of fun too.
Johnny P asks, anything you would do differently with the recipe now that you've made it?
I'm pretty sold on it. Honestly, maybe the viscosity, but also carbonated it's different. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker because of carbonation. I'm willing
to accept that. I just I want it to coat my mouth the way cheesecake. Yeah. Cheesecake's my favorite dessert.
At some point, it becomes too thick though, where you're like. You're chewing. I don't. This might become a matter of opinion now.
It's cheesecake.
That's true.
Like the great thing about cheesecake is you can take a bite and 5 minutes later you're still tasting it because it just hangs around.
Ooh, Mellow Phoenix has a great one because we've both experienced this.
Oh. Yes, we have.
We have used specifically. We're talking about Sundew Ale yeast from
Omega. Yeah.
They came out with that and Bonanza, and we both used them pretty much in tandem with projects.
Well, like right when they came out.
We both had terrible experiences with Bonanza.
I still have some in my fridge I need to use.
And Sundew did really well, though.
Sundew's awesome.
So, it's a really fruity, really provides some fun characters to your whatever you're making.
Especially if you're using, like, real juicy hops. It really accentuates those characters.
I would definitely try it if you have... Obviously, you have it. There's a lot of fun yeast coming out.
Yeah. No, and Adept Nonsense points to this. But it's really great in hydromels, especially if you're using a big fruity honey like orange blossom honey, blueberry blossom, raspberry blossom. One of those ones that brings a lot of fruit character to the table. Sundew just like takes that and just hoists it up. And so really excellent yeast. Again, Bonanza.
It was weird.
I've got some Bonanza because like 6 months ago I had planned to do a banana bread beer. And then just hurried up and got busy.
You have also a side test that's banana related that I am still curious to be part of.
I set those up to be bottled yesterday. So they are off the floor, they're ready to be bottled.
You might see me on BC's channel here soon. It's been a long time since I've made an appearance.
That's true, we might do a month of man-made mead videos. Yeah, it's banana peels versus banana fruits. And they're ready, they're clear, they need to be bottled. I had Mandy from Faywood Mead try them, and her opinion of them was the opposite of what I expected.
Oh.
So I'm curious.
Interesting. Especially since I've just brewed with banana, true banana. I'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be. It will be very interesting to see. What else is on our list? Are we done?
So
you want to take some viewer questions, or we have predictions?
Let's do this. I'll be honest with you. I've not been prepared for this.
I got one. You want me to go, and you just don't listen to me. You think of a prediction.
I don't know if I'll come up with one. I've been trying for the past hour to come up with a prediction because I knew this was coming up, and I don't have one. So I will try though.
You know, let me give a shout out to John McLaughlin. That's where this segment comes from. There's this show on PBS called The McLaughlin Group. Oh. I don't think it's on anymore. But it was like a nonpartisan news debate and discussion show that ran for decades on PBS. And at the end, he would ask everybody to make a prediction about what was going to happen in the world of politics. And so I was like, as like a nod to McLaughlin, we'll do our own predictions. So that's how we got to this.
Yep.
If there are any poli-sci nerds out there, I may be the only one. That's what my undergrad degree is in. Believe it or not. Predictions. My prediction is there's going to be one major homebrewing channel that goes into retirement this year.
Oh, I could speak into this in general, but I'm not going to talk about specifics of a channel.
I don't know which channel it's going to be.
Yeah.
I just think that there's one of those big dogs that's been out there since before the pandemic, 4 or 5 years, that's going to just say, you know what? I've done, because I feel this myself. You'll notice that on my channel, I'm going to start probably posting twice a month instead of 4 times a month, because I've gotten to a point where I've put out hundreds of videos, and you feel like you've covered every possible topic. And I don't want to work each week on a video that's not contributing to the body of knowledge. I don't, and I also, there are great producers out there, content creators out there that are producing good stuff that I don't need to replicate either.
Yeah.
You put out a good video, like I love your How to Make a Mead in 8 Minutes video. It is the best, most concise tutorial on how to make mead. And I've made a How to Make Mead video for a different channel. And I've made, some for my own. None of them are as concise and simple to follow as yours. And so why would I try and make a How to Make Mead in 7.5 minutes? There's no point to that.
Yeah.
And so there are videos out there on bottle closures and how to select your yeast and what is lagering. There's no point in reinventing the wheel. And I'm generally not going to do it better than the people whose videos I'm watching. And so all that is to say, I'm going to start dialing back a little bit on how much content I put out. It'll still be Friday releases, but I think that others in our realm, in our sphere, are going to say, you know what? I've done all the good I can do. YouTube doesn't pay squat.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to take a beat.
Yeah.
And a lot of times on YouTube, what happens when somebody takes a beat
is long term.
They just stop.
That's my, I guess, leaning into that, I think that feels like bold statement, but I feel like YouTube homebrewing is like, hit its peak, and it is like we're midway down the descent of it declining. I do a pretty much a daily search because I love seeing like what kind of people are creating content specifically for mead. So I'll often look up mead and see what videos are happening that week. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed that specifically in the mead category, the people producing content, it's like nothing. Like nobody, like very few. And the ones who are pretty small. And when you're a small channel and you're just starting, you don't generally have, frankly, high quality content. And I say that as somebody who started with a channel who had low quality content.
God, I don't even know why I leave my first few videos up. They're so bad.
And so like I think that it's dying. It's a dying art, unfortunately. And but there's a flip side of this coin. There's the side of us being kind of sad about us not having as many views. Mm-hmm. There's the side that the people who have watched our content are hopefully now brewing good brews and don't need us anymore.
Yeah, no, I think that's very real.
I think as good teachers, you are training your I'll say, for lack of better term, students to go off and do their own thing and be successful. And they don't need our recipes. They don't need that stuff because they are doing it themselves. And it's a great problem. It's a sad problem. Mm-hmm. Something one day when people are like, I don't need you anymore because I can rely without you. You're like, oh, that's great. Yeah. But YouTube has to be entertaining, and some people want to watch the entertainment, and some people are just like, man, I'm out.
I definitely think there's a thing where you pick up a subscriber and they'll watch you for 2 to 3 months, mm-hmm. and then they're like, all right, I've learned everything I need to know. And they probably have, and so they just don't come back. And so especially you can see this with really big channels that will have, hundreds of, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and they're getting about the same view rate per video that we are, is that you're churning through folks who stop mm-hmm. watching your content but never unsubscribe.
That's a big sign, is when I say we because we're not the biggest channels, are getting the same amount of views as the big people. Mm-hmm. That's a sign that something's off. And it's not, it's a good problem in that people are learning, and we're hopeful for that. It's a double-edged sword because we want people to learn and be better, but we also want you to come back because we enjoy you as a person, as a community member. You are valuable to us, and it's not the money. Let's be real, the money is garbage. If we were to ever be profitable in a real way as a YouTube channel, we're gonna need way more subscribers and views, and it's insane.
No, we do it because it's fun.
When you get 1,000 views on a video, you're not making your money back.
No. No.
In cost or in ingredients or anything like that. So what we're trying to say is you are valuable to us, and we hope that you'll come back, if not just for us to hang out. We want to talk to you. You're a part of our communities. Mm-hmm. We both have big Discord communities that we are involved in. BC does a great job in his. I'm hopeful to be better, especially this next year in mine. But we want you to be a part of our team, a part of our community. We're tight knit, and we're learning together. And you'll never know when you need to hop in the Discord and say, "Hey, I'm making a raspberry cheesecake mead. What do I put in it?"
This guy's got the answers.
Somebody's got the answer for your question. So don't totally leave the scene once you feel like you have all the information. But.
It's cyclical, right? Like I don't know that we'll fade away. Maybe we'll just like keep chugging along, but a new crop of content creators will eventually come up and replace us as the like cachet content creators. And I encourage that.
Yeah.
I get it. You can only watch so many years of our content. But also I've been incredibly busy lately, and so part of it too is like sometimes it's tough.
It is. I'm not the season of life that you are, but obviously a season of life depicts your busyness, and so there will be a day that I have to slow down, the same way BC is having to, and it's all part of life. It's all part of the situation.
This is my most recent video.
Yep. Do you want to announce it?
Yeah, we can talk through it. So I was just looking because I didn't know. My most recent video was one of my tips and tricks videos. They're usually my more popular videos. I gained 14 subscribers from that video.
Hey, that's good.
3,300 views. Great view ratio. I made $21 on that video. Now, this video itself probably didn't cost $21,
right?
But you know that it cost me 4 or 5 hours of editing to do.
And that's a factor that people don't anticipate. It is money to...
At that point, I'm getting paid $4 an hour to make a YouTube video.
Yeah, I just pulled up mine just for perspective. Raspberry Cheesecake came out this week. A 1.7K views, or 1,700 for those of you who are doing math at home. 3 subscribers.
Woo!
Man, you can stop me.
Let us know if you're in the chat
tonight. Yeah. Who's in the chat? And $15. And just perspective, and I hope this does not sound complacent, because I feel like it sometimes does. People look at these things.
Yeah.
That to make that mead was probably $80, and then on top of that, my big thing is I like to give people money specifically for that, and so that was a $140 video, and then you add if you value time as money,
all the editing,
editing and time, you know, there's layers. So what we're saying here is that we don't do it for the money.
No, we do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
And anyone who comes up and replaces us better be doing it because it's fun.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. But if you are watching this and you are interested in making content, my advice is to really invest in quality. And I'm talking like, don't release a video until you feel like, man, this thing is it. Because your most famous videos are going to be the things you post first, not the big content that you spend hours and hours and hours on. I've spent hundreds of hours on videos, and they're not the big ones.
The BrewTube Creator Awards.
No, the Squid Games.
The Squid Games.
Yeah, Squid Game. You know, that thing's rocking like 1,000 views, and I spent tons of time on it. But quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So
do your best.
Yeah.
Do the most.
We're not. Here's the thing. We're not stopping. He's not stopping.
No,
we still enjoy it.
Stuff. Yeah, I have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So some of the most fun moments I've had have been going to public events. You know, spoiler alert. Oh shoot, I need to fill that out
for
SoonerCon.
Oh yeah.
Set a reminder for 9 p.m. to fill out the form about SoonerCon. SoonerCon. It's a local convention here. They asked us to do a panel about maybe content creation, maybe mead making.
Yeah.
I need to fill that out. So yeah, like those public events, like going to Mazer Cup, going to I went to Texas Mead Fest a few years ago.
Right.
I went to the one up in, I can't remember the name of it. The one up in
Valkyrie's Horn.
Valkyrie's Horn, yeah, in MSP. Yeah, like those are so much fun to like interact with people who know me through the content or through Reddit or whatever, and just like to hang out and have a good time, drink people's mead, and like experience community. That's what motivates me to keep doing this stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We love hearing your stories. So feel free to jump in our Discords and talk to us, email us. We want to be part of your
Tiger Pat wants us to have one more. Sorry.
Oh,
Sarah is.
He's
waiting on us. I don't know. What should I grab something? Is there like a small bottle?
What's Tiger Pat having? Let's see. Let's see if I can be comparable. Tiger Pat, you're dealing the cards. What do you got?
Also, thank you, Nathan. That's very kind.
Yeah, seriously.
We're just doing what we can. Having a lot of fun while we're doing it.
Seriously.
I'm really thankful that I met you through all this.
It is so great. You know? Here's what's the craziest thing about the whole brewing YouTube situation is that mead making is a small niche. Like the pond is big. No, the pond is small. We're like 100-foot pond. Okay,
the pond is pretty small.
Okay, and then we're like mead making is like the little 5-foot by 5-foot niche in that pond.
Yeah,
and the fact that in the whole world, 8 billion people now, that there are 2 YouTube mead makers in the same state.
We live 10 minutes from each other.
And area is crazy.
The craziest part is that I used to live 3 streets down from here. Like there is like a world where somehow we're still neighbors.
That would be.
And I just walk over here to do videos.
That would be so easy. We could be all the time.
All right, Tiger Pest has turned it up.
Oh, I got some of your gin. I don't know if you're turned up that much.
I don't know. I don't know. We should do that on stream.
Oh, sorry. BC bought some gin.
Oh, yeah.
And
got you a bottle of Tanqueray.
You know, what do I got? It's Christmas.
There's Bacardi up there.
We can. You want to Bacardi it?
Just
wait.
I trust you. Oh, geez.
I meant to open this.
Ron says, BC, love the Jack Keller videos. I bought his book a while back, and now it's great to watch you make some of the recipes and follow. Thank you. I have really enjoyed doing the Jack Keller videos because Jack was an inspiration to me for a long time. And it's weird because the internet was such a different place back then that you could just you're like, Jack Keller is amazing. I'm going to email him and ask questions, and he'd freaking respond. And even up until, it was like 2 months before he passed, I sent him an email and asked him about coming on the channel, and he responded back that his publisher wouldn't allow him to do public appearances for the book because they were controlling that. But he still responded to me, and that's it's amazing to me that Jack was such an icon, and like we were just talking about, really thrived on that community aspect of it.
I hope it's hard to respond to things all the time, but if you do send me or BC stuff, we're gonna try our best to get back to you.
Yeah.
I do have something. This is actually, I would say it's kind of special. I put it in there to get cold. This is the birthday bomb from Prairie.
Oh, okay. What was this, like 10 years ago?
This might have been 9.
Jesus.
8 or 9. This is one of my buddies. Shout out to Ramsey, if he's not watching, but...
You gave me a bottle of something that I opened, and it was totally flat.
Yeah, here's the thing. These are hit or miss. That could be amazing. This could be terrible. So this is the birthday bomb. It is Imperial Stout, aged on coffee, cacao nibs, vanilla beans, and chili peppers. Dark...
Man, such good comments here. So Valis says, I hope you enjoyed the goldenrod honey I sent you. I did.
Ooh.
I need to turn that into a mead at some point. It is still sitting in the middle of my workbench in the brew room.
He didn't ask his Google to bring it down.
Waiting to be turned into a mead because I just haven't had time. But it is super good. Yeah. Maybe I'll save a sample of that so you can try it.
Goldenrod. How much did he send you?
It's like I think it's just shy of 11 pounds.
Ooh,
and so it's like a big thing of it. And so I think I'm gonna make a traditional out of it because I've never worked with goldenrod, and it's from his own hives, which is super cool. Alan says Major Mr. Beer Session Mead turns out smooth at 5.2.
Hey.
Thank you all. That one, solid recipe. It's a naturally balanced version of my regular session mead.
Okay.
And so super good. Caliente Carl made Jack Keller's hibiscus wine into a mead. It's epic. I need to do that because that hibiscus wine turned out freaking awesome.
Yeah, you're still burning through that series. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think I've got 3 or 4 more of those
awesome.
To do, and I will have done 12 in a year. And I'm kind of considering doing it again because it's been a lot of fun. I've learned so much.
I feel like if there's anyone in the whole universe that could help add, I'm going to put quotes around that because I feel like people will get offended if I don't, add to Jack Keller's side, you could do it because you've been through them. You know, you could say, hey, this is the one thing I'd change that I think would be a little bit different.
Yeah, and I feel that because, you know, it's one of those things, everybody has their own palate, their own taste buds, and Jack liked things a particular way, and I'm learning through this series that I like things slightly different than Jack does. And
palates are different. What?
It's not a bad thing. Jack's got all the fundamentals there, and he even gives generally some like advice on how you might freestyle on it too. So I'll take that. Okay, so this is.
Here's what's mine. You might get a different glass.
Oh, okay.
Unless you want to share spit.
No,
with
you
me.
can just. No, I don't.
Put
2 straws in it and go for
beer
it.
through a straw.
I'm not gonna lie. When I just turned 21, I got a beer at Red Lobster, and I put a straw in it because I didn't know any better.
That's okay. I'll make.
I hadn't had beer before 21. I'd only had hard liquor, and
I
hadn't had any. I hadn't drank a drop until Red Lobster. On my 21st birthday.
I was smoking a cigar. Well, so this was like I was 18 and smoking a cigar with a bunch of friends.
At Red Lobster?
No, I had my straw beer. And I went to grab it. And we were like, he was like, hey, you want to try this? I was like, sure, why not? I grabbed it, went the wrong way, and went ash first. So that was...
Peas in a pod.
That was my first go at a cigar. Was Ash First.
Ron asks, what are our favorite carbonated recipes that we make? Carbonated mead, specifically.
Gosh dang it. I hate always default to this, but my apple cinnamon's great. This hopped mead's pretty dang good. BC's is honestly better because he's done a little more research than me.
You were a part of that.
Yes, he's done better, but hopped meads
are
pretty dang good.
Hella underrated.
Yes.
Like, there should be more hopped mead recipes.
It
smells like raisins.
It does. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on. Oh, that's chocolatey.
It's chocolatey. It's kind of tart. Spicy?
It's the chili pepper. It's got the chili.
Oh, okay.
It's not bad, though. I will say for like 8 or 9 years it's been sitting. It's definitely thick,
it's not bad.
Rich.
It is desserty.
We make hop water. I want to. Hop water sounds interesting. I've had a hop water that's been. I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a little bit of something with hops.
I've made my own.
Yeah.
By like steeping hops for 2 or 3 minutes, putting that in the bottom of a pint glass, and then pouring carbonated water because I keep carbonated water in my keezer. I've never found it to be just right.
Sorry, go ahead. I'll finish.
No, that's it. I think that the balancing efforts are something that need to be explored on the home level in a way that I just haven't had time to do. I'd love to like hop water.
Yeah, the ones I've had have not been too great. But is hop water hard seltzer with alpha? I don't know the answer to this. Do you know? Is hop water hard seltzer with alpha acids?
I mean, yeah, I guess technically.
Because it's hops, right? Hops have alpha acid.
You're isomerizing the alpha acids because you do want some of that bitter in there. It's kind of like tonic water.
Yeah, they're boiling hops.
Tonic water is bitter.
Interesting.
Maybe we should each try and perfect it, and then like a shootout. We come together with our ideal hop water. Yeah.
We can try. Yeah, I'm down to try that. Cattle Battle 2024. Hop
water. No honey included.
Hey, shout out to Silent Rob getting thrown in.
Good old Rob.
He's one of the main reasons Cattle Battle and the Mead Stampede happened in general.
Rob is actually a saint.
Yes.
Like, if the Vatican doesn't saint him, we storm the Vatican.
So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
As kind of our finale, because I know that it's late. And
That's almost 9. Jeez.
What are some goals 2023? We're about to start the next show. Might be in January, maybe February, depending on how life goes. What are some goals you have for the channel in 2023? What are some things?
1 billion subscribers.
Okay. Mr. Beast, watch out.
I want to focus on better content. And I know I have a reputation for very good content.
Yeah, what does that mean for you? You've got fantastic content as is. What do you think could be better about yours?
I think more focus. I was really inspired by the response to the video about carboys exploding. And I kind of want to like chase that dragon a little bit of videos that take a topic and like introduce a premise.
Yeah.
And then rewind up to here. And then work their way back down the funnel to that premise. And those videos, I mean, that carboy video took 9 months to produce. And so I want to do more of that, but what that might mean is doing less regular content and focusing on those big picture topics like that. Yeah. And I've got a list of them that I've been building that I'd like to explore. But again, I haven't had the time, and I probably won't have the time until April or so to do that. But I think that's kind of like next gen of BrewTube is doing those big kind of expose style things where you take a topic and you really break it down to its nuts and bolts. And that's the kind of content that I think I'm more interested in doing than doing a video about like, here's 3 ways you can slam a cork into a bottle, And so I think I'd like to focus on better, bigger content.
That's fair.
1 30-minute video a month rather than 4 8-minute videos a month.
Yeah. Even those big projects, those are hard, man. I remember you talking about that. That was a long time coming, and
yeah,
I think we live in we understand editing and the time that goes behind a lot of videos. Even non-brewing content, we can go, man, this person put a lot of time and effort in. I hope that people see those videos and go, man, they put a lot of time and effort in. Like, I want to support them. We got a couple questions here.
Yeah, I know. I'm watching that. I was waiting
I'll
for your...
come back to mine real fast.
Okay.
We can answer these.
Let's. You want to start up here?
TV says, how do you like to store a mead that you want to keg carb, but not all at once? And how long do you leave a mead in a keg before dumping?
Okay.
Okay. So first part of the question.
How do you like to store a mead that you want to keg?
So you're not kegging it all at once. I don't normally do that. I normally keg it all at once.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say that. That's not true. I have 5 gallons of apple cinnamon that are sitting there, not kegged. I leave mine with as little headspace as possible and just aging. Mm-hmm. That's kind of, I would say, to answer that side. Do you have any?
I mean, I think no matter what, you want to have minimal headspace.
Right.
So if you're kegging 2.5 gallons of that, the other 2 gallons, you'll want to rack to a container where you're minimizing headspace. Probably sulfite it, if not using like wine saver or CO2 or something to purge the headspace. It's not a thing I've really run into. So typically what I've done if I want to bottle some and keg some is I will run some into bottles, if I want 24 bottles.
Yeah.
And use carb drops or use a teaspoon of sugar in bottle condition and then run the rest of it into a keg and carbonate. I would never really do that at 2 separate times.
No, I normally do it. Yeah, I was going to say in tandem kind of situation. How long would you leave a mead in a keg before dumping until I feel like I'm done with it?
As long as the oxygen is purged from the keg.
Which should be all the time.
And as long as you have a proper seal and you go out there and pull that thing and it goes...
You're good.
You're fine.
You could leave it for... as long as you feel like it still tastes good. There could be a point where it goes, man, it's not so good anymore.
Don't let it get too hot. But
which, theoretically, if it's in a keg, it's probably in a...
It's probably in your garage or in your... Yeah.
So... there's another one. Or maybe there's not.
Ryu's going to call the Vatican for us to get Rob sainted.
We would love to hear about it. Hear that call.
Was there another one?
No, I guess not. My big thing for 2023, you realize you're showing your...
Yeah, it should be switching back.
Okay, cool.
I was just making sure our folks get some love.
No, I love that. I just didn't know if you... I'm sure.
Yeah, I switched back and forth.
I'm backseat driving.
This guy. I'm running tech tonight, damn it.
2023, man, it's so crazy. It does not feel like 2022 should be over. I feel that it feels like I just made the 2021 BrewTube Meat Creator
everything
Awards.
We've done this year.
It's like flown by. It's just so insane.
Yeah.
And I still have, I want to make a 2022 best brews video. I want to get more into mead competitions, and I don't want to. I say that, and I feel bad because I feel like when you do that, there's a label that's put on, and for good reason, that you are just looking to like clout chase or just medal chase. And let's be real, it'd be nice to earn some things like that, but I'd like to be more intentional with my brewing in a way that is that people can see what I'm also doing. And look, medals should not be the end goal when you enter things, so I want to say that, but I'd like to be more intentional with that kind of brewing. I'd like to have higher quality content, and I hope that I'm pushing towards that. I feel like my new style is a little bit different. If you go back to my first videos, it's very different from that, the evolution. And then ultimately just trying to hopefully bring more people into the specifically mead making sphere. Mead is such a fun art that you can get involved in if you will just put a little effort in. So I've got similar to what BC is doing. I feel like I want to start doing some videos that are like, I liked your definition of or problem or idea and then funnel down to it to get back to the issue. I want to do that with some of these things as well. So I don't have a lot of defined stuff other than maybe just like really workshopping some recipes. I've loved getting to publish a final recipe that I don't know that you could change a single thing on. That's a lot of fun. So it's a challenge though.
Yeah.
You have to brew things like 7-8 times or more.
How many times did you brew your apple cinnamon?
At least that.
Chris Morrow asks, "Where's my love?"
Where's his love? Sorry,
I'm not sure what he's referring to, but I love you.
What is your?
I'm
trying to figure out what his avatar thing is. We're zoomed in on this computer, and it looks like a hoodie with some words on it, and I can't tell what it says.
I love lamp. I went to high school with a Christopher Morrow. It's probably not the same one, but if it is, hey man,
hey,
are you still doing backflips?
Every day, wake up, do a couple, remind myself of the good old days.
I think he worked at the Highland Dairy plant for a while. So, you still like milk? Oh man. What do you think about the soda stream method of carbonating?
I'm gonna put that to the test in the future. I'll go and tell you. Just
Are you
my
really?
Spoilers. I don't think it's gonna be competent. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's not a great method for I don't even know for immediate. Like here's the thing. Soda stream bottle, pretty large. So that's like a 16-ounce bottle. So you're gonna have to fill that thing up. Throw it in your soda stream. All CO2. That makes sense. What if you're just putting like half that? What if you put 8 ounces in? Then you're just throwing oxygen in.
Yeah.
And CO2.
Yeah.
And you're just shaking it all up. Like there's no logic there. So unless you're making 16-ounce pours of stuff, you're probably not gonna do anything great with it.
Apparently Chris likes milk still, so that's good. It's not the same guy. Okay, East guitar player, not the same. Well,
It's a bummer.
It would have been really cool to reconnect with somebody from high school, but I've seen Chris on the streams before, so I was pretty sure it wasn't the same guy. But much love. 404. You read the one from 404.
Says, the only reason I try my weird recipes is because of the community you have, mostly made of a foundation. Sipping on 8% Citra hopped oatmeal mead, interesting, that is carbonated. Thanks for doing what you do. Oatmeal mead.
Cheers.
Cheers. I mean, this feels like oatmeal, so.
This is dense. I wouldn't say I like this, but I also don't hate this. Yeah. It's just.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. It is. I could have poured, on Reddit on r/wine, people are always posting their wine glasses and there's like a dribble. I feel like that's how much I needed of this. Okay. I think we're done with
here's
program.
The thing. 2022 has been a blast. 2023, we're hopeful to be back in January. We're going to do our best, whether it's at...
Maybe it'll be somewhere else.
Maybe we're just going to hop around. Maybe you'll see us in the OKC Devon Tower. You never know.
That sounds expensive.
Probably not there. But we're going to hopefully be back. This is a fun show. Again, if you want to listen to just a podcast version, obviously video can be extra in that you have to actually pull it up and stuff. There's a podcast version. It doesn't get a lot of love. It's on Apple Podcast and Spotify and all that stuff. You can check out that there. We post it normally the day or two after this has been live. So find us there. There's also a Clips channel. If you totally missed the podcast, totally missed the video, you can find, I normally chop up the clips of silly things, fun things that happen. You can find it there. But yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, I think 2022 has been a good year. We've had a lot of adventures. We'll probably have a lot more next year. And I'm happy that we launched this podcast. I think it's been fun. It's fun to go through the world of brewing stuff and just kind of distill it all down. Oh, distill it all down for folks.
Bring it back to home.
and talk about what's what. As Seen on TV. If you want to hit me up, it's Doing the Most on my Doing the Most channel. Just shoot me a private message.
Yeah.
Or you can tag me in the DTM YouTube Nonsense channel on there too. We'll talk about it. I really thought that scheduling a stream would send them a notification, but maybe we've got to figure out a better way.
Messed up.
That's fair. All right. Well, it's been lovely. Thank you all for joining us.
Cheers to you.
Happy brewing.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy holidays for those of you who don't celebrate anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't celebrate, then
happy.
It's just an excuse to drink for a while.
Get some eggnog in your body. And do it big.
Until next time, and until next year.
Oh.
Happy brewing.
See you next year.
And cheers.